I used to wake up with a knot in my stomach, wondering how I'd make it through the week with only $40 left in my bank account. That was my rock bottom, and the start of my financial freedom story. I'd scroll through my phone, tempted to buy a $5 latte just to feel normal for a moment, but I didn't. Instead, I made coffee at home, sat by the window, and promised myself this: no matter how tight money gets, I'm going to find a way. Living on a low income taught me more than how to stretch a dollar. It taught me how to rethink money. I stopped comparing myself to others. I focused on what I could control: small changes, new habits, and smart choices. That's how I slowly started to breathe again, mentally and financially. In this video, I'll share the fresh, simple strategies that actually worked for me. No gimmicks, just honest, frugal living strategies that helped me stop living paycheck to paycheck. Why frugal living is different now. Frugal living used to mean cutting every little expense, saving every receipt, and never going out. Our grandparents lived this way during hard times like the Great Depression. Back then, being frugal was about survival. Today, it's about being smart and sometimes even trendy. Now, frugality looks different. People share tips on TikTok, take part in no-spend challenges, and use apps to save while shopping. There are digital tools that help you track spending, invest small amounts of money, or get cash back on everyday items. It's not just about saving money, it's about using what you have in a smarter way, like people who live below their means and practice stealth wealth without anyone noticing. There's also a new kind of frugality: intentional living. Instead of buying more, people are choosing to own less and enjoy life more. They're focusing on their values, not just their wallets. This new version of being frugal is about freedom, not fear. For me, modern frugality meant using what I had, learning new habits, and making choices that gave me peace of mind. It's no longer about saying no to everything, it's about saying yes to what really matters. And that change made all the difference. The mindset shift, redefining frugality. When I first heard the word frugal, I thought it meant being cheap or boring. I imagined someone who never had fun, always said no, and counted every penny. But over time, I learned that frugal living isn't about saying no to everything, it's about saying yes to the things that really matter. Instead of seeing frugality as a punishment, I started to see it as a form of power. I wasn't just cutting costs, I was making choices that helped me feel in control. I had to unlearn lifestyle inflation and start choosing simplicity. Every dollar I didn't spend was a dollar I could use later for something more important. That simple change in thinking made me feel less stuck and more free. One day, I took an old sweater with holes and turned it into a tote bag. It didn't save me a lot of money, but it made me feel proud. I was creating, not just cutting back. Being frugal became a kind of challenge, a game I could win. And every win gave me more confidence. I didn't feel poor. I felt resourceful. And that shift in mindset? That's what separates struggling from saving. That's the real secret. Frugality isn't about having less. It's about doing more with what you already have. Number 1. Smart splurge budgeting. Living on a small income doesn't mean you have to cut out all fun. In fact, one of the best lessons I learned was how to create a smart splurge budget. This means setting aside a little money, just a small amount, for things that make you happy. At first, I thought I had to cut out every extra expense, but that made me feel sad and burned out. So I started giving myself $5 each week to spend however I wanted. One week it was a special drink at a coffee shop. Another time, it was a small art supply or a new book from the thrift store. The key is planning your splurges. Don't spend just because you're bored or stressed. Spend on purpose, not by accident. This minimalist budget included small joys that helped me stay on track and gave me something to look forward to. I wasn't wasting money. I was using it in a smart way that kept me feeling human, not just broke. Even a tiny treat, when planned, can keep you motivated. Budgeting doesn't mean saying goodbye to joy. With smart splurge budgeting, you can save money and still enjoy life. And next, I'll show you how your neighbors might be your secret weapon for saving money. Number 2. Community-powered bargaining. One of the best ways I learned to save money was by working together with others. This is called community-powered bargaining. Instead of trying to save money all by myself, I started sharing, trading, and buying things with other people. For example, I joined a local buy nothing group online. People gave away clothes, kitchen tools, books, and more, completely free. I once got a blender just because someone else didn't need it anymore. I also started doing skill swaps. I'm good at sewing, so I fixed a friend's clothes in exchange for her cutting my hair. No money needed, just time and effort. Another great tip for downsizing to save money is to buy in bulk with others. A few neighbors and I teamed up to buy a big pack of rice and cooking oil. We split the cost and the food. It was cheaper than buying small packs alone. When you work with your community, you save more than money. You also build friendships and trust. It reminds you that you're not alone. Helping each other makes life easier for everyone. You don't have to be rich to live well. You just have to think smarter and connect with others. In countries like India and the Philippines, this kind of frugal community living is how many families thrive. Number 3. Micro-investing, macro impact. When I first heard the word investing, I thought it was only for rich people. I didn't think someone with a low income could invest at all. But then I learned about something called micro-investing, starting small, even with just a few cents or dollars. There are apps now that let you invest tiny amounts of money. Some round up your purchases and put the extra change into a savings or investment account. So, if you buy something for $2.75, the app saves the extra 25 cents. It doesn't seem like much, but over time, it adds up. I started by setting aside just $1 a day. That's less than the cost of a soda. At the end of the month, I had $30. After a year, I had over $350, and that's without feeling a big difference in my day-to-day spending. These small amounts made me feel like I was building something, that I wasn't just trying to survive. I was investing on a low income and building wealth slowly. Micro-investing taught me that you don't need a lot of money to start. You just need to start small, stay consistent, and believe that even little steps can lead to something big. Number 4. Reinvent your basket. One of the smartest things I learned was how to change the way I shop for food. Instead of meal planning the usual way, I started with what I already had at home and used a strategy called reverse meal planning. Each week, I would look in my fridge, freezer, and pantry. I wrote down what I had, like a bag of rice, a few eggs, some frozen vegetables, and leftover sauce. Then I searched online for recipes using only those ingredients. It helped me waste less food and spend less money. I also signed up for grocery store apps that send alerts for big discounts or food close to the expiration date. One time, I bought a big bag of overripe bananas for cheap and made banana bread, smoothies, and even banana pancakes for the week. Another helpful tip is cooking in batches, and it saves both time and money. By reinventing how I shop and cook, I stopped throwing away food and started saving real money. These no-spend challenge meals helped me cut my grocery bill without cutting flavor or nutrition. It made a huge difference in my budget without giving up good meals. If food is draining your budget, this one habit could flip the script. Number 5. Subscription audit ritual. I didn't realize how many hidden money leaks were draining my budget until I added up all my small subscriptions, music apps, streaming services, and cloud storage, some I barely used. So I started doing a subscription check every 3 months. I sat down, looked at my bank account and credit card, and listed every subscription I was paying for. Then I asked myself, do I really use this? Is there a free version? Can I share it with a friend or family member? I ended up canceling 5 services and saved over $40 a month. When I canceled that $5 music app, it felt like I just gave myself a raise. I now set a reminder every 3 months to do this check. I call it my subscription audit ritual. It takes 10 minutes, but it saves a lot of money each year. You don't have to give up everything, just be smart about what you keep. Cutting out what you don't use gives you more money for what you really enjoy. Living on a low income isn't easy, but with the right habits, it's possible to feel strong and in control. These 5 smart and simple strategies help me spend less, save more, and enjoy life again. You don't have to be rich to live well, you just have to start small and stay consistent. Try one tip this week. What's your favorite frugal trick? Share it in the comments. We're all learning together. Want to learn how real people are building quiet wealth and achieving financial success? Then watch this video next. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.